enough to rant. From the heart, never relent. This is the Tottenham supplement. Money well spent, feet stomping, heart stomping, ready for the event. Chasing glory every moment, heaven sent.
So obviously we've come here on the back of well, it's quite an interesting run of results, one might say. I think it's 6 defeats out of 7, plus 1 win. I was in the Europa League a couple of nights ago. So yeah, it's a very good place to start in terms of team news. So yeah, we've got a few things to discuss where it comes to Spurs and rumours right now, just to get the little bits out of the way. So yeah, I mean, there's been a fun 48 hours. Matis Tel, and then we got Fikayo Tomori. Now the story is out there that Matis Tel, a French international, 19 years old, Bayern Munich player, decided to stay at Bayern Munich to fight for his place. So apparently we would have agreed a deal with Bayern Munich, 60 million euros, was it? And yeah, that's not going to happen now. But and then Fikayo Tomori this morning, from what we understand, he's decided to stay at Milan as well. But it depends on which way you're actually going to look at it, really. So in your mind, we'll start with Andrew first, because I think you've got a few thoughts on this one. The players that we've been linked with, the players that are saying no. I mean, do you think that's indicative of how things are going at Spurs, or is it just a case of we're kind of unlucky at the moment?
I'm going to be brutally honest here. Look, I love the club, okay, but let's call a spade here. And at present, the club is coming across as incredibly toxic. And that is from the board down to us in the ground, right? Because we all have to take an element of responsibility for this. And I'm not going to sit here and just say, oh, it's the board, it's the manager, it's the players. And then it's like, oh, the fan base. Oh, no, we're angels. We're not angels. Okay. So I think that's the problem. In world football, Tottenham is coming, you know, there's been lots of reports about the conduct of the board, Daniel Levy, the manager. Will the manager be sacked? It's like relentless. Every single game, it's the next game. It's the next game. It's the next game. So there's all this instability at the club. Now you're already in a place of instability at your own club because you're on the bench. You don't know whether you're going to get a game. Do you want to move from that then to another club where there's hostility, especially from the fan base? There's so much hostility. Do you really want to put yourself in that position? Also, how attractive is Spurs looking at the moment? A couple of seasons ago, yes, I would have been like, hey, why are you, why don't you want to come and play for us? We're languishing in the 15th, right? If Tottenham does not beat Brentford tomorrow, and if Everton beat Leicester, Tottenham drop to 16th. Okay, that's the harsh reality of what is happening at the club at present. Again, as a player coming from Milan, coming from Bayern, do you really want to move to a club that's 15th in the league? Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to, even though we're not going to be, okay, I'll make that very clear. We are not going to be in a relegation battle. We are not going to be relegated. But that is the narrative that's been put out there. Spurs are in a relegation battle. They might be relegated. So if that's the narrative put out there, is that the kind of environment, again, you want to put yourself in a relegation scrap, even though we're not going to be in a relegation scrap? But that's what the press are constantly, it's just relentless what the press are doing to the club at the moment. And that is it out there. We're in a relegation fight. So again, we're not very attractive. Endless injuries. Again, we're not very attractive. Do you want to come into a club where you are scrapping every single game because of the level of injuries? that there are at the club at present. And then there's a manager where the fan base are so divided on. Fan bases are usually divided on the manager. It happens. But our fan base is, oh my God, it's constant Angel, sack him, keep him, sack him, keep him. Every single day, every single group, every single Tottenham fan. You could be on the street and you see a Tottenham fan. Are you Angin or Angel? It's like, oh my God, I just want to win games. I just want to win. I just want 3 points. Is that too much to ask? So that's just my take on that.
That's a very interesting take. Ryan, I'll bring you in on this as well. Yeah, 2 players kind of have said no, they want to stay with the clubs at this point in time. As Angie's kind of said, is that it could be an environmental thing as well, as well as a personal thing with the players. What's your take on it in a way? Do you feel that there's a club attractive to players now as it was not that long ago?
Where do I start? Okay. As far as Matthijs Tau goes, a player I hadn't heard of until we were linked with him. To be completely honest, I've never heard of him until we were linked with him. I don't know what he did at Bayern last year. All I heard about was what Harry Kane did at Bayern last year. That being said, he's done practically nothing at Bayern this year or this season. So him not wanting to come to us, I don't know. I think it would be a little bit strange if he does, as the other rumors say, go to United, which I don't know how much that is more appealing, other than a wage or a higher wage than what we could offer. I don't know what's more appealing there. And I think that would always be the more attractive offer, the more attractiveness to players compared to our club, regardless of our situation. I know our situation is bad. It's not dire yet, but it is bad. It doesn't look good. And other than in name, all United could offer them is more money. So if that is his preferred choice, it makes no sense to me if he wants to really fight for a place at Bayern, which I think they've only used him 8 times this season. So if he's wanting to play, I don't know. I know of Tamori, but I think players choosing to stay where they are and not wanting to move, it's also tough. While I agree with a lot of what Angela said, the toxicity of what is going around in the club, especially with our fan base. You know, I'm not a fan of our fan base personally. I've never been a fan of our fan base. Higher ups from other clubs don't go and see what's happening on social media with regards to what the fans say. Players do. And if you went out to X or Twitter and you were reading what our fans have been saying today, or what they were saying last week, or what they were saying the week before, or every time we lose a game, or every time a player doesn't perform, and you hear about players closing their accounts because they don't want the abuse, I think for a younger player, it would scare them off.
Yeah, I can imagine that will be a culminating factor as well. Just to kind of clarify on a few things that was said about Takaya Tomori and Matisse Tell, it looks like, especially in Tell's case, I mean, even Juventus came calling and he rejected them, said he preferred to stay at Milan. He's more interested in being there for the derby, and then he will look to try and then he will assess things. So he hasn't rejected Spurs out of hand, as the stories are saying. He's saying that he wants to complete a few games at Milan, and then he'll assess things afterwards. So the deal is not dead, if the deal was there in the first place. The deal's not dead, but they'll assess. And with Tell, it looks like yes, he just preferred to stay at Bayern Munich and fight for his place. So it wasn't a case of rejection of Spurs, as it were. More a case that he's at a big club. Why would he want to leave? And yeah, it looks like Manchester United only came in with a loan, and he preferred to stay at Bayern Munich for the time being. So there's still time. Who knows what can happen? I don't know how many days left in the window. Is it only a week or so? Is it? Oh, no idea. 'Cause,
2 days.
2 days.
I
So
think-
I just kind of bury my head in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so that should be interesting.